Your powers are weak, old man.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
So I'm going to start, Professor Harari, with you to shape us what is at stake. And I want to start with a quote from one of your books. You said you wrote, humans will change more in the next 100 years than in their existence before. AI and biotech could undermine the idea of individual freedom, making free markets and liberal democracy obsolete. Democracy, you went on to say, in its current form cannot survive the merger of biotech and infotech. So would it be fair to say that you think a huge amount is at stake in this, and why?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, on one level, the more shallow level, it would be a repeat of the 19th century Industrial Revolution, when the leaders in industry basically had the power to dominate the entire world, economically and politically. And it can happen again with the AI revolution and biotech revolution of the 21st century. And we are already beginning. I understand the current arms race as an imperial arms race, which may lead very soon to the creation of data colonies. You don't need to send the soldiers in if you have all the data from a particular country. But on a much broader and deeper, from a deeper perspective, I think it really is going to shape the future of humanity and the future of life itself, because the new technologies will soon give some corporations and governments the ability to hack human beings. There is a lot of talk about hacking computers, smartphones, emails, bank accounts, but the really big thing is hacking human beings. To hack human beings, you need a lot of biological knowledge, a lot of computing power, and especially a lot of data. If you have enough data about me and enough computing power and biological knowledge, you can hack my body, my brain, my life. You can reach a point when you know me better than I know myself. And once you reach that point, and we are very close to that point, then democracy, the free market as we have, and actually all political systems, also authoritarian regimes, we have no idea what happens once you pass that point.
Do you think that China, which in many ways is further ahead on this in terms of being a surveillance state, is a harbinger of where things are going?
I think at present we see a competition between state surveillance in China and surveillance capitalism in the US. So it's not like the US is free from surveillance. There is also a very sophisticated mechanism of surveillance there. And I think the competition at present, there is no serious third player in this arms race. And the outcome of the arms race is really going to shape how everybody on the planet is going to live in 20 to 50 years. Humans, other animals, new kinds of entities.
But do you think that there is something, and I'm back to asking you again, Professor Harari, fundamentally different about the nature of AI and biotech, which means that it is significantly more dangerous than previous technological breakthroughs?
Yeah, I mean, the comparison with the atom bomb is important. It teaches us that when humanity recognizes a common threat, then it can unite, even in the midst of a Cold War, to lay down rules and prevent the worst, which is what happened in the Cold War. The problem with AI compared with atomic weapons is that the danger is not so obvious, and at least for some actors, they see an enormous benefit from using it. With the atom bomb, the great thing was that everybody knows when you use it, it's the end of the world. You can't win a nuclear war, an all-out nuclear war. But many people think, and I think with some good reason, that you can win an AI arms race. And that's very dangerous because then the temptation to win the race and dominate the world is much bigger. So that's.
I'm going to really put you on the spot there. Do you think that is a mindset more in Washington or in Beijing?
I would say Beijing and San Francisco. I think in Washington, they don't fully understand the implications of what is happening. I think at present, the race is really between Beijing and San Francisco. But San Francisco is getting closer to Washington because they need the backing of the government on this. So it's not completely separate.
Hey, what's going on, my Ibmore brothers? Back again for a public discourse. My patrons will know what I'm talking about. But everybody is in a consensus about me sharing this particular video with you guys. And the clip that you just heard was Yuval Harari, author, Israeli author, that talks about Homo sapiens and their evolution from a historical standpoint. And he was using that lens to talk about what I call the global technological arms race. And I've been saying that for about the last 3 years. So this is my to a lot of my detractors that say I don't know what I'm talking about. This is something I've been talking about consistently, in my videos, pre-recorded videos when I talk about tech, even on my live streams when I talk about the conflict that's going on between China and the United States. And even he mentioned it, that there's a tech arms race going on between the two global powers, which is the United States and China. And he even mentions the two cities that he said are at the center of this tech arms race, with this we call San Francisco, what he means is Silicon Valley, and the Beijing consensus. He even kind of excludes Washington, D.C., because D.C. really doesn't quite get it, even though they fund it. It's really not the center of the technological rivalry. And there's something interesting that he said. He said something that I've kind of alluded to, Kurzweil has alluded to, a lot of stuff on some of my dark news I've alluded to, and I've been pointing it out, over the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years, that people are afraid of kind of embracing. And he said it. He said, we're going to change more in the next 100 years than we have in the last 100,000. And I think even then he's being conservative, because he actually didn't think that the merging of biology and tech would happen as fast as we think it will. He doesn't think it'll happen in the next 100 years. I think it's going to happen in the next 50. But that's just me. I probably won't live to see that, but he believes that it's going to be much slower, but I think it's going to be much faster than that. But he's just affirming what we've been saying over the last 4 or 5 years, that there is a definitely technological arms race, and AI is the center of it. And when you merge AI and biology and material tech, you're going to get this synergy that we've never seen before. And he said he likens it to the Industrial Revolution back in the 18th century, which transformed the planet as we know it. We've gone from an agrarian, a mostly agrarian race or species to this thing that's accelerating to God knows where. And it's changed everything from marriages to social groupings to even the way we interact. And the speed of it has basically broken and reformed societies all over the world over the last 200 years. We've gone from less than 500 million people on the planet to nearly 8 billion as we sit. And you can see the speed of change all the way around the world. Look at South Korea coming from an authoritarian patriarchal society to where feminism is actually running rampant and basically wreaking havoc through the whole social relations of their society, things that they could not have foreseen or anybody could have foreseen. And this is just part of what this technological arms race is actually going to force upon us. Because the thing is that, as I said about a tech arms race, he mentioned the two main two, which is the United States and China, but you have Europe, you do have Russia, which is still in it. You have emerging places that are in software like India. So you have all these centers that are all doing this all at once. And since it's a arms race or a technological arms race, the thing is you can't afford to fall behind. So all the things that you would normally shunt or you normally push away or not do, you can't afford not to do it, because if you don't, your competitor's willing to take a chance in doing it. So we might not want to artificially develop human beings, or what we call babies, but China will do so because they want to get the jump on the United States. So if China's doing it and they announce that they're doing it, the United States has to do it. So that's going to push us into doing things that we normally wouldn't do, or normally wouldn't do as fast. And when we do that, we're pushing the rest of the world into this technological, I wouldn't say black hole, but it's technological, I would say black hole, into this singularity where everything accelerates faster and faster. Just take a look at 5G. Now, 5G really has not been thoroughly tested to see whether it's environmentally safe. But since China has already done it, and you need that to run automated systems like trains and self-driving cars and trucks, you need 5G. And since China was going to implement it faster than us, we have no choice but to implement it, whether it's safe for human beings and birds and animals or not. Because China's going to follow it up with what they call 6G, which is right on the cusp, on the launching pad. Little things like micro robots that couldn't have been even imagined 30 years ago. Okay, they're possible because they've broken the process of making silicon down from what it was 50 nanometers down to 3, which is unheard of, which is so microscopic you can't even see it. So you can actually make machines at that scale, which is, you damn near right in on atoms. So now you have microscopic machines that you can flood the body with. And that's coming, because once the process happens, then it's just a matter of clever people manipulating these machines and making them do something that heretofore was unimaginable. Human beings are very clever. And once they establish an idea, they build upon it. And lots of times, like in Pandora's box, if it can be done, sooner or later, somebody will do it. If they can create human beings, sooner or later, somebody will do it. And if it works out, somebody will copy it. But you can hear the fear in Mr. Harari's voice. Like he's worried that this thing we call AI, this thing we called automation, will get out of hand. And then it's going to start controlling us instead of us controlling it. And what happens when powerful forces like corporations and even governments get their hands on this stuff and start manipulating us with this tech? Nobody knows. I don't think the government knows. And what if they lose control of Skynet? Then what? We'll see. We'll see. Can humans keep the genie inside the bottle and make the genie serve it, or serve us? That's always been the question. And a lot of times we haven't done such a great job because we've pretty much, made a mess of the planet by doing it. So, like I said, there's no telling. But I just wanted to make you guys aware of it. The World Economic Forum is going on right now. You guys should get over there and look at some of these videos and save them, because such as this one, it's not taken down, but they unlisted it like a day after broadcasting it. So, and this is one of the more controversial segments. So, like I said, if you want a peep game, you want to peep advanced game, this is the place to do it. This is what you need to listen to, because whatever they say here, trust and believe you're going to be hearing it sometime in 2020, probably even in 2021. These people are not to be played with. These people are the ones that actually run the world. But with that, I'm going to jump off of here. This is BGS out, and I will see you guys on the next one.